I knew that this was coming out, but I didn't get to listen to it. So I listened to a little bit of it today. I kind of skipped because I got some time stamp in here. And this was the interview with Kevin Feige. And it was something interesting from a little bit I heard from Kevin Feige. So I want to bring this up, and then I'm going to juxtapose this where I interviewed from E-Man when he interviewed Nate Moore. Because I want to know if you're really, truly, serious about what the fans actually want. So let me just play this real quick, and let's go.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. I can't wait to get started.
What are your thoughts on connecting with the fans directly through this podcast?
I think it's great. I think Marvel has had I would say a tradition, but I think actually a pioneering tradition in fan feedback, going back to Stan's soapbox and to the letters in the comics. I think that back and forth is part of what made Marvel what it is. And I think that back and forth has become both easier and more difficult.
Shout out to Marvel and Marvel writers back in 2021 or 20? I think it was 2021 or maybe 2022. I actually wrote into Marvel on a Deadpool comic and got my whole all the crap that I was just being funny, but all the things I said in that Deadpool comment got printed in a Deadpool comic, and that was a highlight of my life. You know what I mean? There was no greater high, because Deadpool is my favorite comic book character. There was no greater high in the world than seeing my name, Dre Mack, in a Deadpool comic. Oh, I lost it.
Over the years, thanks to all the tech that we have. So I think I find that there's a lot of talking at each other. Marvel talks at our fans through our work in many ways, and through certain presentations.
Yeah.
And the fans speak at other fans and at us through,
Trust me, Recast T'Challa, we get talked at, not talked to. Recast T'Challa, most definitely.
Incredible fan-made podcasts and YouTube pages and things like that, which are just
like this
remarkable.
one.
So I like the idea that this is going to be another outlet to have a more direct connection.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm going to just remove this just real quick, because Kevin Feige says something that was very important, and hopefully they're going to start listening to fan feedback. Number one, he said that, at a point in time, we were listening, to fans as far as Marvel. And, that goes all the ways back to the 60s, where people used to write letters into Marvel, where, we could be able to have a voice heard if we didn't like certain certain things. We could be able to kind of get to that, and be able to talk to the writers and everything directly from there. And that is something that I believe, and especially Phase 5 really made sure that people at Marvel was not listening to the fans. What's up, Andre Ware? What's up? They were not listening to the fans at all, period. And I'm going to show you, back when E-Man interviewed Nate Moore, the disconnect between, the actual executive producers and all of that of Marvel compared to, is this timestamp? I believe this is timestamp. Let me see if this is time. I think this is a Nate Moore interview. And let me just get to the interview, that E-Man put up. So give me just a second. I'm trying to get this prepared, because I'm going to, kind of let you know the disconnect and see if they actually changed the disconnect. So this is E-Man from E-Man's Movie Review. And let's see what they're talking about now, because there's a receipt, and I'm just using this as a receipt. So shout out to E-Man using his video as a receipt, or Yeah, as a receiver, like, look, we asked for recast T'Challa. We didn't ask for it immediately, but we wanted to know how you felt. And they were going to, shalom, Dr. Carby, shalom, shalom. Going to see what they said then compared to what we just heard from Kevin Feige himself. So let me play this, and hopefully we can get to the crux of this.
Emmanuel Noisette from E-Man's Movie Reviews, the movie blog out here in Chicago. Clearly, with the passing of Chadwick, that was I can't imagine what type of emotional burden it had to be for you, the cast, and the crew to
completely Rashad
Walker, right? But can you talk about the decision to use the real life tragedy and impose it on the fictional character of T'Challa? Because while it can be cathartic for some, it can also be triggering to relive that.
And E-Man asks an excellent question on this interview. I never did a reaction to this video, so I might actually clip this and make a separate video out of this. But E-Man asks an excellent question. Let's see what I actually don't remember. I remember this interview, but I don't remember this interview, if you get what I'm saying. So let's see what Nate Moore says to E-Man when he's talking about imposing the real life death. Now, remember, this is listening to the actual fans. Let's see what Nate Moore says in this interview with E-Man.
Sure. Pain again.
Sure.
So can you talk about the decision to go forward?
I mean, it was, look, Chadwick's passing was shocking to us all and hit us all a bit differently. But he, I can't say this enough, like, he was such an impressive person beyond the performer, and had relationships with all the cast and Ryan and myself who got to know him through Civil War. And you have the very real conversations of, should we even make a movie?
Right.
Certainly not all movies need sequels. There's been amazing movies that are one and done. And those were conversations that we had. And Disney at no point said you have to make a sequel. They said, we'll do whatever you feel is right. And then you start to think about, and no one can really know, right? But I go, I think Chad would have wanted us to make a sequel because he knew how.
So again, for him to say Chad would want to make a sequel, you see he's not actually asking the question about the real life death.
Much Wakanda meant to people.
He's not talking about imposing the real life death into the movie and using that as a selling point for your movie. Let's just get that out the way. Number two, to make the decision to make the movie, you know what I mean? He didn't have to make it. He chose to make it. Now, remind you, with E-Man, because there was plenty, let's just keep it, I'm going to keep it a buck. There were multiple recast T'Challa, the GoFundMes, Lord have mercy, petitions. There's multiple petitions. E-Man's caught more fire. You know what I mean? E-Man's caught way more fire, right? And this is the fans saying, look, we're not saying recasting the character in the movie. We're not saying that. What we're saying is, do not use the real life death of Chadwick in your movie, and do not kill the character, right? Do not kill the character, because it's a fictional character in a fictional universe, and you can't use the real life, don't use the real life death of Chadwick Boseman as a selling point for your movie. You're hearing Nate Moore saying, hey, we decided to do it anyway. Let me just keep going, because again, we're going to juxtapose what Nate Moore said. Let me keep going.
But people make movies. Movies aren't plopped off an assembly line. We as people who are dealing with the loss of a person have to be able to believe in and make a movie. And
now, mind you, He said we didn't have to make the movie. Disney wasn't pressing us to make the movie. Now he's saying, well, we're people. We got to make movies. You didn't have to make anything. You know what I mean? You didn't have to make anything, but you chose to. So that means you didn't listen to the fans, right? You did not listen to the fans, and you chose to do something regardless. Let me keep going, just real quick.
And we couldn't figure out how to get our heads around making a movie with another T'Challa. Is the truth. So now you got some cognitive dissonance, right? You want to make a movie because, man, Wakanda means a lot.
Factor provides balance.
Wakanda didn't mean that much. Let me take this off screen real quick. Wakanda didn't mean that much that you had to use a man's real life death as a selling point. Wakanda did not mean that much when you have this disconnect between the fans, right? What the fans are asking for, right? Now, mind you, the video I just played from the podcast, Kevin Feige was like, we're going to start listening to fans because we're talking at, this is a prime example of talking at the fans. Damn what we think. Damn, you're using a real life death of Chadwick Boseman as a selling point to sell your movie. Damn that, I got to make money. So again, that's the disconnect. Let me keep going because I'm about to make my point when I start talking about Black Panther 3 and Letitia Wright.
With your looking at somebody saying that's not my friend every day, I couldn't. But I understand the conversation. Okay. And I don't think it's wrong. Okay. I think it's just we had to make the movie we knew how to make, you know?
You didn't have to make anything.
So making the movie about the passing of T'Challa felt like the best way to honor both.
You see, I'm just going to say like this, and this is why there's so much of a disconnect between Marvel and his fans. Number one, the initial question was, with T'Challa. Matter of fact, this is at the 349 mark. So I'm not speaking for E-Man. Let's go back to the original question and see if he even, the original question. And then I'm going to go back to the 349 mark.
Emmanuel Noisette from E-Man's Movie Reviews, the movie blog out here in Chicago. Clearly, with the passing of Chadwick, that was, I can't imagine what type of emotional burden it had to be for you, the cast and the crew to move forward, right? But can you talk about the decision to use the real life tragedy and impose it on the fictional character of T'Challa? Because while it can be cathartic for some, it can also be triggering to relive that pain again. So can you talk about the decision to go forward?
I mean, it was
okay. 1 minute and 56 seconds. We're at the 349 mark here, and he still hasn't answered that question. Why did you use the real life death, you know what I'm saying, of Chadwick Boseman in your fictional universe? 349, let's see if he answers this question anytime soon before the next question.
And I think the cast agrees. I won't speak for them. I'll let them speak for it. I think in talking to them, I think they agree. And it was hard. It was a hard process. I mean, we lost him during COVID. Yeah. So it wasn't even like we all got to
double the pain.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, we all experienced losses during COVID that you didn't really get to grieve because COVID prevented that. Right. And being together and making this film was the first time we were all together to be able to talk about that. And then the process of making the movie allowed people to pour some of those emotions into their roles, into their reads, into what it was. And by the way, our crew lost him too, because a lot of our crew was the same crew. So we made the movie that we thought we could make in a way that felt respectful to the legacy of the man and to the world. And I think audiences are allowed to feel how they feel about it. And I will never tell anybody how to feel about watching this movie. I hope it's cathartic. You could be 100% right, though. It might trigger some people, and I hope that's not the case. Audiences are going to have to tell us, you know?
Right.
But,
so,
you see, he never answered the question. Never answered the question. So again, there is a disconnect between Marvel Studios and its fans, because you have the guy who blew up because of his petition, not anybody else's petition. You're all saying they go around got as much attention as E-Man's, right? And Nate Moore completely talked his way out of that question. You guys heard it. Now, let me remove this just real quickly. And again, when you go back and you listen to now, let's go back to Kevin Feige. Just real quick. This is all going to make sense in a moment.
Can't wait to get started.
What are your thoughts on connecting with the fans directly through this podcast?
I think it's great. I think Marvel has had I would say a tradition, but I think actually a pioneering tradition in fan feedback, going back to Stan's soapbox and to the letters in the comics. I think that back and forth is part of what made Marvel what it is. And I think that back and forth has become both easier and more difficult over the years, thanks to all the tech that we have. So I think I find that there's a lot of talking at each other. You know, Marvel talks at our fans through our work in many ways and through certain presentations, and the fans speak at other fans and at us through, you know, incredible fan-made podcasts and YouTube pages and things like that, which are just remarkable. So I like the idea that this is going to be another outlet to have.
See, again, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Disney gave Nate Moore, I don't know what's going on, why this keeps phasing in and out. But anyway, so Marvel gave Nate Moore, it refers to Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I'm using this because it was the easiest to show you fans disconnect. There's like say for instance, this was the fans do Marvel 1 phases 1 through 4. Then phase 5, because I want to make money, here we are. We're so far apart, right? So Kevin Feige is saying now, we're going to listen to the fans. We have we see what's going on. This is something that Stan has been doing it for years and yada, 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 all of this stuff. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start listening to fans and hopefully we can connect. Because you saw in the video with E-Man and Nate Moore, there's a complete disconnect. He did not want to even answer the fact that you used a real life death in a fictional character. There's multiple ways to honor a character or honor an actor. Fast and the Furious showed you how to do it. There's plenty of other movies where the actor dies. The Crow. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Hell, even the what was it? Game of Death. Finished the movie with a stunt double, and then they showed you the real life, funeral at the end of that. But they did that way back in the 70s. Nate Moore did not have to make that because he did not care about the fans. He did not care that character has been around since the 1960s. He's the first black superhero. What he wanted to do was make a movie. And then that was a way of honoring Chadwick while also playing on the heartstrings of black consumers. So you thought black consumers was going to come out in droves for a funeral. And then you see by the box office numbers, you can say, well, it was still, successful because they made $800 some odd million. You could say that, but compared to the first movie, it's a significant drop by $500 million. The Marvels didn't even make $500 million domestically in its theater run. So that's still a significant loss from the first movie. Because people are going to the movies to see the main character. Nobody goes to see Batman without Batman. Only reason why Joker is getting the type of love that it gets, because Joker is still so iconic, you know what I mean? That you can technically, especially the way they made the movie, You can make a movie like that without having the Batman in there, and it makes sense because it's more of a character study. But you're not going to have a mainstay action-filled pack summer blockbuster called The Batman without the goddamn Batman. Nobody's trying to see Batwing, Bird, nothing. They came to see Batman. They didn't come to see, Nightwing be Batman. They did not come to see that. They did not come to see Batgirl be Batman. You're not coming to see that. You're not coming to see nobody, none of them. Damian Wayne, nope, don't want to see that. You need come for that. So again, DC knows the formula. Where is the disconnect with Marvel?
Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.